What's up guys, I'm BTC. I got a ton of Brigitte info for you today. Is she going to be the meta changer that Blizzard said? Let's find out. As I said, there's a ton of stuff to get through, but first, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe because I always have the latest and greatest in Overwatch content. So subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any of it. Just prior to the release of Brigitte, Blizzard announced that the new hero would not be available in the competitive ladder for over a month and a half, and a very large number of players were pretty upset with this. Blizzard, specifically Jeff Kaplan, has responded and he said, "We're following this feedback closely. We made this change with the best intentions, as we frequently heard complaints from players that we were introducing new heroes to competitive play too quickly. Let's see how this plays out for Brigitte, and then we'll reevaluate for next time. Thanks for being patient with us." So they are looking into it, they are considering it, that it might be too long. I think it's definitely way too long. 1 or 2 weeks is a perfectly reasonable amount of time for players to get accustomed to a new character, to learn what kind of strengths and weaknesses it will have, and then bring it into the competitive ladder. With any luck, after a couple weeks, they'll be like, alright, you know what, let's put it into the competitive ladder. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Now, as far as the character changing the game, changing the meta, I've talked about this quite a bit. I'm kind of back and forth on it. She has some things that are anti-dive, but she also has some stuff that is very helpful to dive. They said the biggest thing is that Brigitte is the first hybrid tank support that we've released. That alone has the potential to create entirely new comps or counter existing comps. Specifically for Brigitte though, she also can be very difficult to rush down and quickly kill. She can be very defensive with her shield and high health armor, but she also can shield bash any enemies that come too close and knock them away or potentially just kill them. Players have already discovered how scary she can be to fight against as a Tracer player, as an example. I'm not sure she will completely upset the dive meta just by herself, but she should certainly help. Now, as far as her being able to counter some of these characters, yes. From my own experience playing as Brigitte, any of the dive characters that would normally harass the back line, like Tracer and Genji, if they try to get back there to take out the other support or to try to harass me, if they get within that shield bash range, they are just toast. Like, the combo that you do with Brigitte will instantly take out a Tracer, no questions asked. And as far as a Genji, you may not get him, he might be able to get away, but he's going to have an extremely small amount of health, and chances are he's going to get taken out by someone else. So, yes, Brigitte does shake that up a big time, and like I talked about in another video, she is a very effective bodyguard for your other support. So if you have that Zenyatta or the Moira or whatever, and someone comes in to try to harass, Brigitte can just stand right in between them and either knock them away or bash them, and you can just take them out. So I think it definitely has a lot of potential. Brigitte is officially in the support category, but she's being called a healer-tank hybrid. So where exactly are people going to be using her, specifically in the higher brackets? Is she going to be more relied on as a healer or more as kind of like an off-tank? And they said, I think what's super exciting is we're not actually sure. Certainly she was designed as a support, but she is flexible enough to be played as an off-tank at least. Maybe she could be played in a comp like Ryan, Brigitte, Reaper, McCree, Lucio, and Zen. We can't wait to see what people will do with her. Here's the deal. She has pretty good burst healing, but there's a bit of a cooldown on it. And her AoE healing is also pretty good, but it's what I would call unreliable, I guess is the best way to explain it. So you don't know if you're always going to be able to heal people, and it might not heal them enough, you know? And as far as her tanking ability, she's actually a better off-tank. Like, she has more protective abilities than characters like Roadhog, D.Va, or Zarya. Like, yeah, Zarya has the bubble, but it only lasts for 2 seconds, and it only protects against 200 damage. And for D.Va, yeah, she has defense matrix, but it only lasts for 2 seconds, whereas Brigitte has the shield, which can last a lot longer. On top of that, she can use it to block ultimates, protect her team from that. On top of that, she also has the ability to knock enemies away, so she can kind of zone them out and keep them away from her teammates, or she can shield bash someone and stun them to kind of protect, again, do that bodyguard thing. So I think she actually has a lot more kind of off-tank abilities than what we would normally consider to be off-tanks right now. So I think it's very, very possible that we might see like a Reinhardt or maybe an Orisa accompanied by the Brigitte that is fulfilling that off-tank role. I think that's a very, very real possibility. Compared to the other melee character in the game, Reinhardt, Brigitte does way less damage. He does 75 per hit, and Brigitte only does 35. So where did that come from? And they said her basic melee damage tuning comes from a place where she just can't be everything, being a healer-tank hybrid that doesn't leave a whole lot of room to dish out a ton of damage. That said, she can still occasionally deal some nice burst damage with her shield bash and whip combo. But it's really not that bad. Because her attack speed is so much faster, she can get in almost 2 swings in the time it takes Reinhardt just to swing once. So she does a tiny bit less overall damage, but she also has that greater range. So it all kind of balances out. Some of the original design for the character was just insanely powerful, and they had to tone it down quite a bit. They gave us an idea for some of it, so gave her a ton of upfront armor for herself. So instead of the 50 she has now, she had 150. She could armor regen for everyone. There was some kind of a speed boost. Her shield was indestructible, and it was just like solid metal, so it could never be broken. And then also made it so that if she shield bashed someone, then it would knock them down, kind of like what happens with Reinhardt's ultimate. So it was way, way more powerful than just, you know, a quick little stun and a stagger and stuff like that. So obviously they had to take all of that stuff out, but could you imagine if all that was added to the game? It would just be ridiculous. And the last and probably most important question, where is Jetpack Cat? And the answer was, I think the better question is, where isn't Jetpack Cat? He's the one with the jetpack. Guys, what do you think about all these changes and the potential for Brigitte to completely alter the meta and change the game? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out my Discord server. Follow me on Twitch and Twitter. The links for that stuff are down below. And remember, always, always blame the controller, because it's never your fault. Also, special thanks to all my Patreon supporters for helping to make this all possible. If you'd like to see what kind of cool rewards you can get for supporting the channel, check the links on screen and down below.